Welcome to Creature Critique. Today we will be evaluating an aspect of video game AI, monster evolution. In most every video game, monsters, creatures, and bad guys have some sort of AI, whether it be pathfinding, interacting with the environment, or trying to kill the player. In this episode, however, I will be looking for a certain set of criteria that has to do with how monsters itself change. Criteria number 1. Is there some sort of a generation tree? Is the next wave of monsters based on the previous wave? When one monster gets closer to its specified goal, such as jump height or running distance or ability to drink lava, is its stats used to build the next generation of monsters? Criteria number 2. Does the monster itself change over time in relation to user input? Does its stats get higher or lower, such as attack, or power, or defense, in relation to needing that? Do they change colors over time to blend in with their environment to keep from dying, or do they get bigger? Some sort of a change in relation to stimulation. Number 3. Does the player have to fight this monster? Are they actually in the game, and do they pose a threat to your existence? Lastly, number 4. Is there a learning curve that makes it challenging enough to produce results quickly enough to make the game interesting? There'd be no point in the game if the difficulty level didn't get harder over time. The AI needs to start out good and produce quickly and able to have good results in the game. These virtual traits are not found in very many games. Most games have pre-designed monsters that only change because they were programmed to, not because their environment requires them to. I believe this underdeveloped game technology has the potential to challenge people in a way that has never been done before and to prepare humanity for an ever-changing future. With that in mind, here are some of the closest games that hit the mark. Number 4. Breathe Creatures. This is not a game. It isn't even a program. Breathe Creatures is a screensaver. Why a screensaver of all things? Because that's how the creators wanted it. Blocks are randomly spawned together with joints. The size of the block is relative to its virtual mass. Bigger objects take more to move than the smaller ones. The objective of this screensaver, other than doing work while you're procrastinating, is to get as far from the start star in 8 seconds before the next generation gives it a try. How does it link up with our criteria? Well, number 1, does it have a generation tree? Yes, it does. The spawn of the next generation is based on the previous one. Number 2, does it change from user input? No, it does not pass this one. Change is based on the best recorded record. Number 3, does the player fight or interact with these mobs? No, it is a screensaver, and it would stop if you tried. Number 4, learning curve. It does have a learning curve. It takes progression, although it does take a bit of a while to get the next one. Number 3, frame sticks. While the creatures aren't as aesthetically pleasing, frame sticks is a great deal more advanced than Breathe Creatures. The user can specify what the goal of the stick creature is: jump height, distance, swimming ability, and more. All can be up to the player. More than that, multiple creatures can be animated at one time, giving a faster evolutionary curve. But in the end, it's just sticks. How it pans out on the list is that it does have a generation tree. It does change from user input. It does interact with people. And it does have a good learning curve. This simulator hits all of the marks, but is still lacking a certain something. Number 2, Species. This simulator game is badass. The user has complete control over how things work, can craft custom mobs, and watch them evolve. And even the environment changes over time and creates obstacles for monsters. More than that, these creatures have a not-so-blocky or stick-figurely figure. They're actual monsters. This game is definitely a step above the other 2 simulators. So how does it look on our criteria? It hits every check mark. But the best is yet to come. Number 1, 3D Creature Evolution. This downloadable simulator is by far the most advanced. This is the programs that are being run with advanced AI. These critters don't just change to suit their environment or to accomplish tasks. They really learn and remember in a virtual neural network. You can see in the video that these creatures are not quite like the others. Their joints can be seen, they contain nearly any geometric shape, and they can get very smart over time. All that is missing is a game structure and a playable character that has to fight these things, and it would be an Armageddon. While Species was able to pass all criteria, 3D Creatures tops the glass off. So, monster evolution in video games, the ability to change over time to the environment and the player, would add a great level of difficulty onto the game, but is not strongly implemented in most modern games. Given time, game developers will gain the necessary tools to implement these into games, adding a level of difficulty that is exponential. So why go through all the trouble? The generations, the gigabytes of data? After all, pre-designed, structured enemies in games have gotten by just fine in the past, where game designers actually draw out and sketch 3D models and animate has been how things have done in the past, and it's gotten by just fine. It's been a great challenge in most every video game so far, and they don't need to start out slow and stupid, but it lacks the ability to learn and adapt. Because one day, computers will outsmart us, they'll outthink us, they'll outnumber us, and they'll outplay us. This is just the start to save humanity, challenge ourselves, and play hard.